Dun, dun. Hey, some dumb guy. Guess what? We're here for part 5 of Black Friday attacks. Following up part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and now 5. Will this be the last episode or the last part? Absolutely not, because regardless of how many titles are in this box and whether or not I can get through this box in one shot, I know I still have at least 2 more coming. And those deliveries are pending anytime soon. I have no idea when. There ain't no tracking attached to any of these things. But we're going to dive in, watching the mountain of movies grow. Background noise, if you hear that, sorry. Got my space heater going. It's a cold night tonight. I've got a kitty, little Sugars, over there playing with her marbles. She loves marbles. And she's having a good old time, but causing a little ruckus. So, what we're going to do is toss that little packing list out. And, wow, Groove has never sent me bubble wrap before in a box. I think that's a first. Kitty might like to play with that too. All right. It's a full box. It's the same size boxes as the movie ones that came out for parts 3 and parts 4 here. Could be the same number of titles. We're not counting. We don't know. We're just going to dive in and see where we go. Slipping one out of here. We're going in for a Blu-ray blind buy. Oh, not around here now. Surely not. This is a sequel to a movie that I have also not seen. But I'm not sure if I've bought it yet or not. If it's one of my pending purchases or something I'm just still watching. So regardless, needless to say, this one will not be a first watch. But this is an all-star cast. Jeff Daniels, Stephen Lang, and Robert Duvall. And it's the sequel from, looks like 2002. I believe it's the sequel to Gettysburg, or is it a prequel? I'm not sure exactly which. But it is Gods and Generals. And I've heard good things about both films. I had and lost the opportunity to watch Gettysburg in the theater in high school. I ended up winning some free tickets to it. But I was in high school. I was not yet driving. In the theater in which the tickets were for was 2 towns away. That wasn't something I could manage, unfortunately. So I never got a chance to get around to seeing it then. Never watched it later. So it passed me by. So we're going to make up for it now, and we'll get both films before giving them a watch. Next up, we have a 4K non-blind buy, an upgrade. This is a new release, so I don't know if this one ever came with a slipcover or not, but I sure didn't get one. And sometimes that makes me sad, sometimes not. It doesn't seem to matter at all whatsoever. But we have Dennis Weavers and Steven I almost said Steven Seagal. Steven Spielberg's Duel. I already have the Blu-ray of this. I was not necessarily going to upgrade the 4K because I was happy with my Blu-ray. But Black Friday came attacking. It came knocking on my door and it says, I've got good prices. Fun little factoid I recently discovered about this film, because it is a universal title, and as my regular viewers may recall from my first couple episodes of Some Dumb Watch, I not too long ago purchased the complete series on Blu-ray of the Incredible Hulk TV series from the late 70s, early 80s. And there's one episode in particular of that show, and I think it was probably in season 3 or 4. It has a very Duel-esque storyline. And as I'm watching this episode, things are looking not only familiar because of the storyline, but locales and actual scenes were really jumping out at me. Like, something is interesting here, and it dawns on me, like, well, wait a minute, these are both Universal. Universal made The Incredible Hulk. Universal made this film, and I'm seeing all this stuff. So I went and I did a little Googling, and as I found out, that episode intentionally borrowed a lot of plots and such from this, a lot of the shooting locations from this, but in addition to that, actually used a lot of the alternate footage, outtakes, deleted scenes from Duel and incorporated them into this episode. You know, where you have two characters in a car on the run driving away from a big rig, and I'm not entirely sure if it was the same truck or not, or just a very similar one or what, but it was very interesting, and to go online and actually get full-on confirmation of something that was nagging at the back of my head was pretty cool. So I thought that was a little fun factoid to share. Next up, title number 3, Blind Buy. Blu-ray, Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw, Robert Ryan, never heard of him, Dana Andrews, never heard of him or her, don't know which. But we have a classic war film, Battle of the Bulge. Price aside, I couldn't tell you why I bought this movie. I can almost always give you a specific reason why I pulled the trigger, price aside, and I can't. This one I just know, I said classic World War II film, have heard of, know nothing about. I don't know if I've ever actually heard anything specific as far as a reputation on this one goes, but I got it. Obviously great price, which you will always see here on my screen. And yeah, okay, got another classic World War II title. Usually can't go wrong with those, right? Title number 4. Hey, Blind Buy. Apparently this is a very bad movie. I don't know. If it is, considering what I saw, or what I what I expressed in part 4 of this series, this will be an interesting companion if I watch it. Whoa, hey, we got a jumping animal here. There's the kitty. What you doing, sugar? She likes to check out the movies. Anyway, the reason why I say that is because this is another Kevin Costner film, and it's a Kevin Costner film that was not well received, but I've never seen it, and I've known a couple people that have actually really liked this one, and he's just had some poor misfortune for some of his movies, between Horizon and Waterworld and The Postman. I'm sorry, I like Kevin Costner. He's always good no matter what he does, as far as I'm concerned, whether the movie is great or not. You know, he's definitely had considerably more hits than misses, and for the price, I figure, you know what, it's worthwhile. We've got like a post-apocalyptic type society thing, which is always fun when it's done right, and you know, why not? It's got Will Patton in it. Will Patton's always a win. He's like, this man's like the GOAT of co-star side characters, you know what I mean? He's always there. He's always 100% reliable in everything he does. But the man has never had a starring role in his career, as far as I know, but he's always just that guy, that right-hand man in the background, and he's always solid. So at least I'm glad to hear he's in this. For better or worse, he'll probably enhance the experience for me. Next up, 4K non-blind buy. First in a current 4-part franchise, which I've only seen 2 or 3 of the 4, and I've hated every single one after the first one. So I wasn't going to go in for a box set. I waited until I saw this guy come up individually, because I think the whole franchise basically came up on 4K pretty simultaneously, and they were always grouped together or in a box set or whatever. This guy came up for the 4K on the current sale for Black Friday at Groove, so I picked it up. It is Shrek, the one, and as far as I'm concerned, the only, and we're going to leave it at that. We're going to pretend no other films came in this franchise after, with the exception of, and we're going to go on a complete side note because they are accessible and within reach, spin-offs. Puss in Boots. They just happen to be right over here next to me, so not sequels, spin-offs. And we can just pretend that they have no real connection. And I'm okay with that. Next up, Blind Buy. Oh, more classic war films. I know why I got this one, though. This is a John Ford and Marion C. Cooper. Never heard of him. This is a John Wayne and Henry Fonda, Shirley Temple, Pedro Armendariz film. John Ford's masterpiece of the frontier. I got this to expand my John Wayne library. Ford Apache. Groove offers a considerable number of classic John Wayne films, as if there were any non-classic John Wayne films out there to be had. I've been taking regular advantage of their sales to expand my John Wayne access and abilities and see how far I can take that. 6 titles in, going in for number 7. We are approaching a length, 1, 2, 3, which we're probably going to call it quits here really quick. Yes, last title. We're going to split this box in half like we did the last episode. So stay tuned for part 6 coming soon to a theater near you. Guess what? Blu-ray, Blind Buy. Along those same lines, we have John Wayne in Chisholm. All right. It's as if John Wayne ever made a Western. Now, when I see the title Chisholm, I know nothing about this film. I'm just curious because this name features prominently in the histories of Billy the Kid. I'm going to glance at this real quick on the back and just see if perchance this is the same man. And John Chisholm, a real-life cattle king. Okay, that sounds right. Are we gonna? Oh, New Mexico, 1878's Lincoln County War. This is the man. So this will be an interesting addition to my Billy the Kid filmography, I guess you want to call it. I've got a fair amount of Billy the Kid related films, books, nonfiction. It's a very fascinating subject for me. I've been exploring now. I'm expecting this to be highly dramatized, just like Young Guns and Young Guns 2 are. Just cannot really take any of that with any kind of degree of seriousness whatsoever. You know, so it is what it is. But even still, fun to watch. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, parts 5. At minimum at this point, we've got part 6 and incoming at least 7 and 8. I know how many titles are coming in my Kino Lorber box that is going to be incoming. It hasn't actually shipped yet. That's a minimum of 2 more videos in itself. So we're talking bare minimum of a 9-part series here for Black Friday. Help. Help. Is there like an AA kind of group or something? You know, Physical Media Collectors Anonymous? I think I could really use one of those right now. I know there's people out there that are worse at this than I am, as far as just acquiring and acquiring and acquiring for the sake of, with no real actual basis of, I like this movie and I want to own it. But holy crap, I don't have the space for this. I guess I can afford it, which is good, but I mean, look at this. Who has stacks of movies on the backs of their couch? You know what I mean? I'm sick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for joining me on this part 5 of Black Friday attacks. I will see you in the next part, hopefully. And once again, I'll pose the question that nobody's answering. What did you purchase for Black Friday this year? Did you get any of the same titles that I have so far? Let me know. Fill the void. Silence the crickets. We love interaction, and we're not seeing much. Help change that, shall you? Thank you very much, and good night to you all. Bye-bye.